Hey guys, welcome to the No Games Here podcast. The song you're hearing is Dusk Pines by PPixelation, a friend of mine on YouTube who makes really great chiptune tracks just like this one. If you really like this type of music, go check him out at the links below. Today we're going to be talking about our experiences with the Battlefield 1 beta, Warhammer 40k Eternal Crusade, the Mafia 3 FPS limit debate, and a lot more exciting stuff. Now, it should be noted that this segment was recorded a while ago, and as such the news may be a bit stale at this point, but I really like the discussions we had in relation to the stories, and I think you'll enjoy them too. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Enjoy. Today I'm joined by Preston.
Hello.
Tom.
Hey.
And Alex.
Yay.
And we're going to be talking about a lot of different things like Battlefield 1, the recent release of Warhammer 40k Eternal Crusade, and other Warhammer games, For Honor dropping split screen on online multiplayer, the Mafia 3 release being limited to 30 FPS on PC, Amazon Games, and Destiny. So I think prior to starting this, I should say, we were all talking about Battlefield and our experiences with the beta that came out. I mean, it's been a while since it came out, but I think we've finally gotten together to talk about our annoyances with it. So to start, why don't we hand it over to Preston to lead this, shall we? So what were your experiences?
What? I was totally caught off guard for this.
Aha!
But no, but like my experience, like, because recently I'd gotten back into Battlefield 4 because EA just released all the DLC for free. So I was like, sweet, I'll just play it on PC. And just playing through that, and after my experience on Battlefield 1, I'm like, honestly, to me, it doesn't even feel like it's made by the same company anymore. But I think that's just because they were using the Battlefront engine.
Yeah, you could definitely feel that.
I feel like they pulled too much from Battlefront. They took their existing playstyle, which was more of a quotes here cinematic experience than a game, and they tried to put the Battlefield skin back onto it, and you end up with this ugly cadaver thing.
I mean, and also, like, I don't know about how any of you felt, but I felt like the guns didn't react the same way that they had in like any of the previous installments.
Yeah, the guns were really weird. I know. Okay, so they're used to the sniper rifles having. My hypothesis is that whoever makes the developers for Battlefield in general just hate snipers with a fucking passion. They do everything in their goddamn power to nerf the shit out of snipers, because oh my god, is it so difficult. First of all, you got to put 2 rounds in somebody, which as a sniper you rarely get. Yeah, well, that's everything.
Always been the
that's
Battlefield
everything
mechanic.
I know, but it doesn't make it not annoying. Most times as a sniper, you might only get 1 shot on somebody. Anywho, that aside, I was looking at the power level, and they probably have fixed it by now, but like the power level does no damage for about 50 yards, all the damage till like 150, and then nothing again. I'm like, that's not how bullets work. That is not at all how bullets work. It's not like, I'm not going to hurt for like 10 feet, but then I'm going to really hurt like a motherfucker. Like, no, that's not, no. And I mean, that's kind of like a tie into their whole, like, this is historically accurate. There is nothing about this short of the, like, okay, I shouldn't say nothing because technically the guns involved were part of the war at some point, and the vehicles involved were also part of the war at some point. Yeah, but by and large, like, most people weren't running around with assault rifles, all right?
Or any automatic whatsoever.
Yeah, like automatics were so rare.
Machine guns were heavy as shit.
And so that's why they were mounted usually, and they weren't carried around by some dude being like, "Look at me, I got an MG running around." Ho ho.
Oh my god! And the tank turning speed. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here against your whole sniper rifle thing.
By all means, go ahead.
The couple reasons I can see them actually doing that is for pretty much the entire life of battlefields, and you could probably call it shooters in general. You've always had the problem of people using sniper rifles as very high damage assault rifles. And I think what they're trying to do is essentially discouraging people from using them that way.
Hey, you know how other games have solved that, like Red Orchestra? You can only have 2 per side. Only 2. You limit the amount of snipers.
Which does help, but what I think what he's trying to say, I mean, like, there's other ways to limit it, and I think that it's kind of frustrating because a lot of times in games, if you get that, I mean, Call of Duty was notorious for this early on, was using DMRs basically as your main weapon, and it was, one shot to your chest, or no scoping, or quick scoping, and that was majority of the way the games, which you're like, first of all, you wouldn't carry a Barrett 50 cal and run around like a madman firing it from the shoulder. That's not going to happen.
You wouldn't carry a Barrett 50 cal and fire it from the shoulder, would you?
It's like, no.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like, this is dumb. I don't understand why this is happening. No, I don't. I get it. Like game balance wise, I totally understand. It's just it bothers me. Like regardless of the fact that it makes sense, it bothers me.
Zach, I'm gonna throw it out there that any game that's not Red Orchestra bothers you to some extent.
No, I play plenty of other shooters that break rules and shit. It's just I like playing as a sniper when it's like, we're just gonna take all that away from you. Speaking of, so we're already on the whole like realism problem with it. You know how if you shine light into a scope, you'll get a scope glint, right?
Right.
If you're in a shadowy area where no sun is reaching, like you're in the shadow of something,
or it's nighttime,
no scope glint, right?
Shouldn't be.
Well, you would be wrong, sir. If you play Battlefield 1, you go into the shadows, they'll still know where you are. Because scope glint. It's like, I am in a cave, the fuck. Like, god damn it.
Again, that's just a game balance mechanic.
I think what Zach's probably getting at is that the fact that they're half doing realism and half not doing it.
Like the tank turning rates. Okay, have you guys seen that GIF of the guy, like the engineer trying to blow up the tank, and then the tank just like breaks, and the engineer goes running past, and a tank built in like 1910 flips the turret around in like a half a second and murders the guy. Like, in what universe is that realistic or historically accurate?
Battlefield 1's universe.
The tanks were tinder boxes and were not built very well. Duh.
I don't know. The tanks were extremely hard to destroy in the beta. Like if there was
in the beta they were, but I'm saying in real life they were like.
Well, that's the thing. Like because they were really hard to destroy in the beta, and they had that turret speed. Holy shit! Like you would murder people in tanks. Like most of the time, the people
horses too.
Oh yeah, that was dumb.
The horses were amazing.
Horses were some bullshit. They were. I shot a dude in the chest with a sniper rifle. 50 damage. Hit the horse in the face. 10 damage. What the shit? The guy just like runs over to me with the horse, stabs me in the face, and runs off like, whoa! Like, god damn it!
I took a plane crashing into me. The horse was like, I got you, bro. I'm still alive.
Yeah, right? It's like, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of enjoying Battlefield. This is when I first booted it. I'm like, this is kind of fun. I like this gun sounds are cool. The motif's cool. God, I love these this is great. And then it's like, dude jumps out of plane going terminal velocity towards ground, parachutes, after pulling parachute 5 feet from the ground, lands, shoots me 32 times with a pistol, and like runs off, jumps on a horse, and goes speeding away. I'm like, that's why I hate Battlefield. Yeah. Now I remember now.
I'm glad to know bunny hopping still works as a legit strategy.
Dolphin diving.
Yep. I'm like, good. I can still play Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1.
Yeah. You can use the bomber as a mobile like gunship. Because, it has bombs, but it also has turrets that you can aim towards the ground. So you can just fly about, pop, 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 and just fire at people from that. Oh, God. So there's a whole bunch of reasons that it's Preston, did you have any other things about it that you found weird?
No, it just felt really off. Oh, and accuracy, you don't need to worry about bullet spread, I guess.
Yeah, that was weird.
I was like, I am hitting people way further away than I should be with this automatic rifle. I can snipe across the map with it if I wanted.
With weapons from the 1910s.
Yeah,
I mean, if they were bolt action,
they weren't. I had more problems hitting people at long range with a bolt action than I did with an automatic. So I think that was an issue.
I will say one thing I think they did better in 4, or not in 4, in 1 than they have previously is the use of support weapons. You pretty much need to put them on a bipod for them to be useful.
I know that is the one
Did
thing.
they
I'm
have
like,
bipods? I couldn't get a bipod to go.
you have to be prone in order to use it, or by a wall. I think. Yeah,
Yeah, I was
that's the
trying
one thing they're like.
I couldn't get it to activate.
That's the one thing they're like. You know what? Actually, we should probably have some realism there. Yeah, I got to be lying down. Can't
so-
fire it from the hip.
So they're no longer just giant assault rifles, which I think is good.
I like that the range
know.
of the AA guns is like 100 feet. It's like, that's it. So if you just fly high enough as a bomber, you're fine. Like, you just pum, 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 and they blow up after like a second. You're like, what? I'm never going to reach. What the hell? You're like, why do I have this? What is the point of this gun? It's like, it's just a large anti-infantry gun, basically.
Well, and that game looked like you guys said, it took a lot from Battlefront, and I've been playing a lot of Battlefront recently now that I've got it for cheap, and I've been really enjoying Battlefront, but I really hope that they can fix, in the Battlefront, I mean, it's a little more casual, and which is fun because all I want to do is just run around and shoot blasters at people.
I mean, it always was casual, though.
Yeah.
Like, even Battlefield 2, which people are like hardcore, competitive with, it's still super casual game. So I'm glad that they kept that with Battlefront.
Me too. And I think that that's the fun part of it. And like a game like that, though, it made more sense, at least to me, just to be like, this is goofy and weird. Yes, I just, rolled across the map and did some crazy stunts. But it's kind of Star Wars. It's kind of fun. It's meant more for just kind of gimmicky stuff than actual, like, wow, this is like real intense multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
When you try to, like, I always feel like when you go to Battlefield, it almost like it doesn't know what it wants to be. At least this one didn't.
Yeah, like, you can't tell if I'm supposed to be like, la 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 la, just playing a game, having fun, doing some weird shit. There's a guy on a horse with a machine gun. It's great. Like, you're not supposed to do that. Or if I'm supposed to be like,
Tactics.
All right, I'm going to move left. You move right. Go. 1, 2, 3, go. Like, yeah, what am I? It's somewhere in between, and it's weird. It's
Now, I didn't play it. I'm assuming you guys played it on PC, right?
I did, yes.
Yes.
I don't know if it was just because it was beta or not. Did it launch into battle.net for that? Or was it within game that you could choose? I don't know if there were servers or
You mean
anything.
Origin?
Battle log,
whatever it's called.
Like, you've been playing too much Overwatch, haven't you?
And I actually haven't touched Overwatch in months, but I couldn't remember what it was called. Did you still have to log in through that or start the game from that, or no? Or was it all in game?
I don't remember what I had to do.
But yeah, so is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about on that?
Skirted that question.
Yep.
You're like, I'm moving on.
That's fine. I was
on.
just curious if they had that still, because I played it on PS4. So.
Anywho, no, just kidding.
I
Yeah,
don't remember.
yeah, I don't.
It was too long ago. Who cares?
Who cares?
Life moves on.
So another big kind of, I don't know if I call it like a big release, but something that's definitely was released was Warhammer 40k Eternal Crusade. I originally saw this, when I first saw it, I thought it was an MMO, like a free-to-play, right? I'm like, oh, that's cool, Warhammer getting into the free-to-play thing, and then I was like, oh wait, it's Games Workshop, aha, it's alright, I know, Alex, right? I play Warhammer, I should know by now that Warhammer and free anything is never happening. If they can get a penny out of it, they fucking will. They will pry a penny out of a cold, dead person's hand. So yeah, so I looked at it, I'm like, oh, it looks like a free-to-play game. Yep, there's Space Marines. Okay, Orcs, Eldar, alright, yep, yep. Alright, how much is it? $50. Holy shit. Like, for what I saw gameplay-wise, I was like, oh my god, 50? for that? And they say MMO, but like playing it, it's like this is just a large multiplayer shooter. I don't why.
If it's massive online and multiplayer, it's
they're not wrong.
Planet side.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be planet side, but Warhammer.
And I was reading through the number of like factions they have. It's like, well, we have many different types of Marines. We also have Chaos Marines. It's like, oh, they're Marines but evil. Let's just move on. Like, they're evil Marines. So you've got like 6 different types of Marines. All right, and
Blood Angels.
Well, we've got very different factions of Marines. We've got the vanilla Marines. We have the Blood Angels. We have the Salamanders. They're all Marines. They're just different colors. It's
the Chaos ones can use magic, but we're gonna skirt over that.
Apparently, like from reading other people's like reviews of it and just trying to get a little background on it, just due diligence and such. Apparently, the Eldar at the moment are really, really powerful. They're super fast. They're kind of hard to target because they're tiny compared to 10-foot tall, 4-foot wide Space Marines, as you might imagine.
They're the Vanu in PlanetSide 2.
Yeah, basically. Geez. And apparently it feels, the review I'm reading is they're saying that it's like they've made it such that like range combat is, they say it seems intentionally weak and inaccurate to make melee a focus. I'm like, oh. And here's the best part. Here's the kicker. For people who play the fucking game, like the actual tabletop board game. Fuck it. Anyway, tabletop. Play the tabletop game. They say right after that the melee thing, they're like, the orcs feel underpowered. I'm like, and melee's the focus? What the fuck? In what fucking universe are the orcs underpowered in melee? Games Workshop. The fuck, bro?
They're not believing hard enough, guys.
Fucking, that is like one of your main races. How do you fuck that up? Jesus. Like, I realize you guys make a lot of cash grab games, but damn. Like, God.
Out of all the things they decided to make a game based off of, I'm kind of surprised they took the planet side model at all. Because
I would actually rather that than something like if they tried to do like Overwatch or something. I'd be like, this. First of all, it'd be boring as fuck because it'd just be like, well, it's Commander so-and-so. It's like, it's a Space Marine. It's another Space Marine. Oh, look, this one's blue. Cool. All right. Oh, this one has a scar on his face. Oh, isn't that interesting?
Well, I played PlanetSide came out with their whole resource management thing patch a while back. So I played it for about a week after they came out with that. It was while they were doing like a double experience week. I played the day after the double experience week ended, and it was down to 10% of the population that it was.
Oh, jeez.
When they were doing the free weekend, it was abysmal. Very few people play that game anymore.
Oh, and apparently, and again, if this article is correct with this information, again, prefacing it with it, I'm using others' information for this, so just doing the research. Apparently, the items, like most items in the store, cost, they say, 10,000 premium credits, whatever that is. It's probably like Emperor dollars or Emperor bucks for knowing Warhammer. Apparently, you can buy them in increments of 4,000 or 9,000 because, of course. It's like, yep, that's Games Workshop. All right, yes. Sounds right. So apparently you have to overpay for items, and they're expensive. I'm like, well, I mean, that's... To be fair, it's not limited to just Games Workshop. Like, every free-to-play model does that shit, where it's like, how much does this thing cost? Ooh, it looks really cool. It's $1,300. How much can I buy this in? Well, you can buy 1,200 packs, or 500. It's always some weird mix in between.
I mean, you're right. It's a typical free-to-play model. I mean, get as much, and I'm sure the non-premium credit gain rate is so abysmally slow as to be very frustrating for free-to-play players. I find,
but that's the weird thing about this game, though, is it's a $50 game. Why the fuck are there free-to-play elements like that, especially the most annoying parts of it, in a $50 game? Like, I realize the answer for this is it's Games Workshop, but Like, I love your guys', like, I love the universe that Games Workshop has created. I love the models. I love playing the game. But guys,
I find it kind of interesting. They have a similar model to a game that's already not doing fantastic. They're putting it into kind of a niche market of Games Workshop, which, yeah, sure, some people will try it out, but they'll be very less likely to do so for a $50 game. They're having a $50 release, which is what you would expect for almost, pretty much AAA title with full,
Features.
full features, and then you're making people
pay for more shit. Yeah.
yes.
And it's not even like, oh, it's like a couple bucks. It's like, no, it's serious money for that shit. Like, oh man. Also, I want to point out that I'm looking at the IGN review right now, and it got a 5.3, which
Wow.
for IGN means it's like a 1. It's like, holy
Anything
shit.
below 7.
Yeah, I'm like, oh. And then the top comment right now is, should have just made Space Marine 2 and thrown an unexpected race in there like Necrons or Eldar. And then it's like, I feel like we see the same 4 races in every 40k video game. It's like, yes, and 3 of them are Space Marines.
And the other one is the orcs.
Well, moving on through our list, I think the next thing that we have is the For Honor effectively getting rid of split screen multiplayer online. I've been kind of following the game a little bit, but at first I was kind of shocked by that. I'm like, well, if you're gonna say that you have split screen and then be like, no, that's really weird. But then reading further into it, it's that they're saying for online co-op, which kind of makes sense. I mean, I can imagine that would be pretty difficult to pull off, because it's one thing to like host it on your own console and you're playing against your friends against some computers and stuff, but like on an online match where your console or PC and the internet's supposed to be able to handle 2 players off the same console making independent decisions and rendering it to the same screen and not messing up.
Hey, Call of Duty can do it. I mean,
it does split screen online with other people?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They've been doing it for a while.
Wait, they still have split screen in Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Preston, I know for a fact that you and I have both played split screen online. Split screen.
But which one did we play though?
Oh God, I don't know.
Do they have that in Black Ops 3? I don't think so.
They do. I have Black Ops 3.
Okay, Tom will vouch.
Okay. Granted, I haven't had anyone over to try. So
At least I think that Black Ops 3 did. I always get 2 and 3 mixed up because they're kind of similar.
Damn it, Tom.
Well, you know what?
Well,
but yes.
Yeah, I guess. Well, there goes me forgetting my video game history. Sorry about that. Their excuse for it was that it's from the person who made the announcement was, it was a feature that we loved, but when we looked at what needs to be done to support online co-op, for us it was critical to make the decision now so we can polish all the features at a AAA level, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, knowing now that other games have done that, it's like, wow, yeah, no, that's really is it that hard? I mean, other games have done it. I mean,
well, it might be optimization stuff. They can't
I could believe it. It's just, the only really bothering thing about this is that when you promise something that's like that, and then you're just like, yeah, at least they're telling you about it. To be fair, yeah, at least they're like, hey, that feature, yeah, guys, sorry, we can't. Not like, yeah, No Man's Sky. It's like, guys, look at all these things. Look at all these things. Buy game. Where are my things? Oh, they're not there.
Can I go on a tangent, a totally unrelated tangent here for a second?
A wild tangent?
References
References that nobody knows anymore. Carry on.
Okay, so I was looking up Black Ops 3 online multiplayer, which, yes, the Activision support says yes, it does. So
okay,
that's settled. Second, when the hell did Forbes start reporting anything video game? That site is such shit now. I don't understand.
They're trying to recover.
No, it's all freelance. That's not anyone who's like owned by, who's like technically hired by Forbes. It's all freelance stuff, and then Forbes just pays them the advertising that they get on their articles.
Oh,
there's a guy who writes a Destiny article every week or every few days.
But why wasn't Forbes like a business stock exchangey kind of magazine? Was
yes,
that not?
but all those sites are dying. They need to get clickbait or some other articles to drive their revenue.
It's like I understand the clickbait, but what I don't get is why I don't know. I feel it adversely affects like Forbes magazine. I don't take Forbes magazine seriously anymore. I would not look to them for what their original intent, financial advice. And I would think it's bullshit. They have video game articles on here. Like,
Did you ever read Forbes for financial advice?
No,
Like,
but
He's saying he takes them less seriously than he did before.
I mean, I wouldn't say that you shouldn't take people seriously because they report on games now. It's just the weird thing about it, like you said, is that it's suddenly like the fact that it's a business magazine now talking about that. I'd worry about it more from a standpoint of it's diluting it's spreading out what they're covering, which means they may not be able to cover everything as in depth as they would have previously, which would be the issue.
How about this? I won't believe them not because they have video game articles, but because they are using shameless clickbait.
That one's fair. That one's fair.
No, I don't think that's fair.
What you mean?
Clickbait is the way of the future. Come on.
Kittens, boobs, and vague titles that get you hooked, and then you're like, guys, you'll never imagine what I did.
Lists
and then it's like
everywhere.
I work in business. I think I would know.
And speaking of other game preference or game setting related news, apparently Mafia 3 will be capped at 30 FPS at least for a while until they get an update out later at a date, which I don't think they've announced that yet when they're planning on doing that. Supposedly soon, but
possibly never.
Yeah, I kind of understand, like I get it that honestly to me it wouldn't really matter. I would notice, but I could really care less.
Especially if you really want to play the game.
Yeah, like it doesn't super matter. It's about the game. As long as it looks good and functions, I'm happy. I don't need to play it at 240 FPS at 4K because I don't have a computer that can my computer can't even dream of what that is, let alone play it. So, like it's not a huge issue for me. But I'm glad they're at least saying like, "Hey, here's the state of the game. We will eventually give it to you guys, but right now this is what it is." As opposed to letting players figure that out. And, they're not like trying to mislead anybody. So I respect that. But yeah, like we were saying, it's like, I really hope that does come out eventually.
The update is slated for this weekend.
Well, how about that?
That's the hope. And, and maybe that's just, they kind of figured, maybe they ran into some issues and they couldn't quite get it finished before then.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? It could be that. I mean, the cynic in me says, well, they want it to look just as good as the console one, so people will buy console stuff instead of PC for a little while. But then it's like, it's probably not. It probably looks better-ish on PC because it usually does. But honestly, it probably is just, hey, we wanted to focus on other things. It'll be out.
A lot of times with games nowadays, it does sometimes feel like it's better to wait a couple months for the bugs to be ironed out of most games.
I rarely pre-order games pretty much for that reason, is because A, the game you think will be great could be complete dog shit, and then you're like, man, I'm glad I didn't prepay $60 for it. It could be broken as shit when it comes out.
Batman Arkham Knight for PC.
And not work, basically, and then you have to wait a month to play your game anyways. Basically, unless I am like a huge fanboy, I'm not going to pre-order it. And even then, I'm still probably going to let's fact check a little bit. Let's double check. Let's make sure this is something I actually want to play. If I think this is going to work out.
Because like when Fallout 4 released on PC, it had a lot of bugs and a lot of issues to start out. I mean, Bethesda games always do. But, I mean, once they kind of get those ironed out, it becomes the game that you want it.
No, you mean once the modders get it ironed out. Bethesda's not going to.
That was the one thing I was going to. Yeah, I was going to say that like, if they weren't getting it done this weekend, the modders would have gotten it done this weekend. There is someone somewhere on the internet who's like, I got you guys. I got this shit. And it's just like, boom, done, 60 FPS. And everyone's like, how? People getting all bent out of shape about like FPS limits. It's like, look, you don't really notice that much. Like 30 and 60, yeah, you can notice it.
It's more along.
It's the principle of they're limiting something that should be user adjustable.
I get it,
Yes,
but
that
I mean,
that and then to go along with like the whole FPS thing is just on consoles there is the power to do it. It's just developers don't want to put in the effort to optimize their games. They'll just put it out without. I mean, I agree. I'm not saying I know how game development works, but I don't know how much more development time it takes to optimize a game to be that way, to make it run on a next gen system as a next gen game.
And part of that's publishers' fault, not necessarily developers.
Like, I mean, I get it. It's just for me personally, it's not a huge issue, so I just never can quite understand why people make it into such an issue. Like, I mean, yeah, I understand that people, if it can be there, people want it to be. Like, if they feel like they should have the option, but it's like sometimes, I mean, does the developer not have the ability or right to be like, no, it's 30. That's what we want it to be.
I think they definitely have that right, and I think that kind of does come with the entitledness of PC players in general.
Yeah, I mean, because we're so used to playing things at ultra mega super awesome all the time at 120 FPS for days, like, and then
with a million different options.
Yeah, I can make it kind of nice. I can make it really nice. I can make it somewhere in between. I can turn this effect off. I can turn this effect on. It's like, it's not bad to not have those. There are certain like basic things you need to have, but after that, like, does it look good? Yes, cool.
But it does matter for people who are in the because PC is modular and not generational. There's probably about 20% of people who get it on PC that are in that borderline transitional stage, where it's like, well, if I toggle this on, it won't run, and if I toggle it off, it runs fine.
Yeah, I agree that makes sense for some things, like graphics fidelity. Yeah, you should be able to change that because that will affect directly who can play it.
Performance.
But limiting frames to 30 just makes it easier. You're having to render less frames. So it should be easier, if anything.
Yeah, and that's the only reason. Okay, I shouldn't say the only reason. The reason people don't like that is because instead of letting the user who has knowledge of the system it's running on set that limit, they are enforcing that limit outside of the user's control. So people who can run it at 60 can't because they're not allowed to change it.
I guess the way I would look at it is that that's maybe a developer wants it to be a more uniform experience across the board, as opposed to this one looks better than that one, which looks better than this one, and they want it to be a uniform experience. And I think that sometimes, for certain games, I could see that being a more of a drive than others. And maybe this is one that doesn't necessarily apply to, but I would think that, maybe like a story-driven game that's focused as certain as other things, you don't want it to be like, they don't want to spend their development time putting it in for a bunch of graphical settings that they don't think are very impactful to their game.
Yeah, plus if you want a more cinematic experience, lower frame rate is actually better. Most actual movies aren't shot in super high frames per second. 24 to 27. Yeah, they're not really. You don't see movies in 60 FPS, guys. Like that's.
Well, but that's that's comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's. I realize that it's movies and video games different. I get that. What I'm saying is it's going back to developers' preference. It really is. It's like, look, as long as they have the main ones, again, like being able to change settings so you can actually run the game. Certain things, if they want to keep it like that, they can damn well keep it like that. And if you really get bent out of shape about it, well, fine, don't buy it, I guess. It's just, you don't need to, oh my God, no, just, it's fine. It's fine. They're not insulting your intelligence as a gamer because they're not allowing you to tweak some arbitrary setting. They're just saying, hey guys, we just want this. This is all it is.
I would argue FPS isn't, it's not an arbitrary, FPS that is a benchmark quality criteria.
I mean, it also depends on the game. A competitive game, you want more frames because you can react a lot faster. So, like, if, let's say, Counter-Strike, Valve was like, yeah, let's just limit it to 30. People would not... I guarantee it probably wouldn't be as popular as it is now if another shooter was able to go above 30. Just because just based on the professional scene alone, it's a lot with games. They want it at a higher FPS, which is why a lot of them, they'll just go to lower graphics if, their computer can't handle it, because the frames are a lot better just for that. I mean, granted, that's a different beast we're talking about. As opposed to just
well, that's why I
playing
said
casually,
situational.
but
It's all about where it's used, and that's the thing. It's all about how things are used, what the situation is like, what's going on. So what is true for one game is not going to be true for another. I don't know. I just feel like the whole what FPS it is an argument that just needs to go away. It just...
Well, and the same with resolution, same thing.
Again, to a point. Certain resolutions should be there. But yeah, you shouldn't get all bent out of shape if, like, your super obscure resolution that there is literally one monitor that plays that isn't in there, because odds are nobody thought to put it in there.
why doesn't they have my 1340 by 1280?
Yeah.
God, games are horrible.
By 1281. God damn, fuck this game. It's the worst game ever.
Deal with your black bars.
Your 1 pixel black bars.
Is that the bezel or the pixels? I can't tell.
It's the world's saddest letterbox. Well, on that note, let's move on to Amazon Games, which I had heard was a thing, and kind of tied in with the Twitch Prime thing. Like, I know they're definitely trying to get their roots into the gaming scene, but I guess for some reason, I was like, this is a thing, whatever, and wasn't really paying too much attention to it. But then it's like, oh no, this is actually a thing. They're releasing, or they're, I guess, publishing the game Breakaway, which is a 4v4 fast-paced PC game blending sports and mythological brawling. It seems interesting.
Fun fact, if you search Amazon Breakaway, Google's first results is Amazon Breakaway Pants.
Oh, hell yeah. We're all the swimmers in us, right? Because we're all athletic and shit.
No, it's more for those of us who want to make people feel really uncomfortable in a public place. Just rip, and they're like, and you're like, no, I got pants underneath. They're like, oh, well.
But their immediate reaction is,
yeah, like, I don't know. It looks like it'll be interesting. From what I've seen on it, looks like it'll be pretty fun, but, like, I'm kind of sensing another trend towards hero-based somethings. It's like hero-based shooter. Hey, cool. Yeah.
The next trend that everyone saw Overwatch's success and says, we should all do that.
Quake Champions.
Did you guys see the Chinese ripoff of it?
Yes.
Oh, the mobile version?
Yeah.
So good. So good.
One of these characters just looks like Reinhardt. I'm sorry, but, like, one of them looks like McCree, one of them's Reinhardt. I'm just looking through the characters for Breakaway. It's like,
Well, okay, they just have a knight character and a cowboy. You'll see that in pretty much any...
I know. I get at some point they look like, it's just like, it really like...
And that's the thing about, like when the companies kind of see the trend of games that are being popular and they see what reception they're getting, they're like, well, why don't we capitalize on that? Like World War II shooters, like modern shooters, like the future warfare shooters, and the zombie games. All of those take the next.
God, that year and a half of zombies.
I think it's over now. Finally.
No, it's not. We still have shit tons of zombie games coming.
Okay, yeah, but like all the AAA
focus.
games and the everything. They still happen. They trickle in, but it's not like a tidal wave of undead. All right.
No, but right now it tends to be everyone's trying to get their esports game out there.
Yeah.
That's Rocket League's. It's Rocket League's fault. That one's Rocket League's fault.
You think? Not Heroes of the Storm, not Dota?
Oh, okay. Let me rephrase my statement because I misinterpreted Preston's comment. When he said esports, my brain went sports games.
No,
which-
no, not at all.
not professionally competitive video games, which is what he meant.
Oh,
Yes.
there we go, Alex. I was like, what are you doing?
I was like, what about all the like Valve is like the leader of that? Well, I don't know.
Like
Maybe
Counter-Strike and
I would say Riot, but I would say they almost just follow Valve now as opposed to making their own.
yeah, I get what you were saying, Alex. I was just like, what?
Oh, speaking of
Esports?
character-based games, has Battleborn gone to free-to-play yet?
No, it's
no.
gonna go. No,
It's
Valve-
going to.
Yeah, they
Well-
have under 300 a day playing it now. So
Hey, look, I'm one of them.
Guys, please make it free-to-play. I like the aesthetic of the game.
It's a good game.
It is. I played
did they
it.
get
It was
rid
a
of
good
did they
game.
get
It's
rid
just-
of the color vomit all over it?
Oh
though?
god, yeah, that was the one thing I was like, what is happening? God, if you play as a melee character in that, you're like, I don't know. And you just start
I would
swinging.
argue that if you play as a melee character in any real-time action MOBA, that's the feeling. But
Yeah, but at least with like
you remember Chivalry.
yeah.
Oh,
All I hear is gurgling.
You're like, oh god, why?
What is happening?
Oh god,
my
I killed Tom. Tom, I'm sorry.
Is that a tar bucket? Oh no.
Zach, did you just throw a throwing axe at my head?
No, I'm dead, and it said you killed me with the throwing axe. No.
No.
I don't know. I really hope at some point we get past this like character-based everything. Like I'm okay with character-based stuff. It's just like spread it out. Just spread it out a bit.
I just hope we get rid of this copy everyone because we just want to follow the next trend.
That's
always.
never gonna happen.
That's
I
not
know.
gonna
I
That
know.
is eternally going to be
wish.
part of games.
And life.
And well, thanks, Tom. Thanks for the existential crisis there. That's
Future.
okay, Tom.
You cannot. What?
I'm going to copy this. Okay, here you go. I'm putting it in the Discord. All right. Tell me this does not basically look like Reinhardt, and tell me this does not basically look like McCree. Like I'm okay with a knight character and a cowboy character being in a game. But seriously though,
Yeah, they do have
right?
definite
Like,
resemblances.
right? Like
Yeah, kind of.
The cowboy looks like Samuel L. Jackson. Just throwing that one out there.
Which ironically doesn't have the badass motherfucker belt. You would think. But yeah, right?
Oh, well.
Like it's different but not I'll probably play it and be like, this is okay. This is a thing I did. Yes.
This is a poor man's Overwatch, I guess.
Is it
No,
free?
that's Paladins. That's Paladins
yeah.
is a poor man's Overwatch.
But I do hope that that Battleborn does go free to play to bring up the player base. But I don't know if I've heard the developer has been saying no, it won't, and they came out with the rumor that it was supposed to do it in November, and the company's like, no, it's definitely not going to. And I'm like,
Everyone's like, please do it. This is your player base saying, please, for the love of God.
And 2K after making Evolve go free to play, it's like, it actually works, guys. It actually works.
Maybe they're just doing a thing where they wait for it to like completely die, and then they're gonna be like, hey, it's back, it's free to play, woo!
Probably.
So I'm reading Amazon kind of release notes here. They're very much gearing this towards streaming. They basically want people to stream this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's-
The
they own
Twitch integration.
They own Twitch, so that's why they want to do it.
Of course they do.
I was not aware of that, but that
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
they
I.
bought
makes
Twitch
sense.
for almost $1 billion 2 years ago.
So they really want to push that, that esports market and that.
They're that friend who's like, hey guys, how about Twitch, huh? Elbow. Huh? Twitch? You want to play Twitch?
Preston, you'll appreciate this. One of my coworkers, who's a little bit, he was in the army for a couple years, so he's like 30-ish, came to my cubicle today and was like, so I found this site called speedruns.com,
Yes.
And me and the guy 2 cubicles over just kind of popped our heads out of our cubicles and proceeded to show him a world he did not know existed.
What, of speedrunning?
Yes.
Oh, my favorite thing in existence.
Oh man.
We showed him the Mario Scuttlebug.
Oh, the whole. Okay, we're gonna build a
Yes.
speed for 12 days. We're gonna beat this entire level with a half A button press. It's
Yes.
like, what the fuck is going on right now?
So that's what we showed him.
Oh, that is my favorite video on the internet.
And this is where we show that I don't know internet.
You don't, Tom. You unfortunately don't.
I am easy to go in media blackout. Spoilers don't happen for me.
Hey Tom,
Speedrunners
what's the
are a
series you're
different-
watching?
Different source of people.
I'm not watching any. Trying to spoil it.
Quick, spoil every series that's happening right now. One of them he'll be watching. Go, quick.
Don't tell me anything about Persona 5. I'm going to mute.
It's gonna be a good game.
Here, let me
I
pull up
muted
the
it.
review right now.
I muted it. I'm not listening. La 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 la.
You're responding to me. God damn it. Tom, I can see the Discord. It's not muted.
It's muted.
It comes out on Valentine's Day, which I think is the best thing.
It is the best thing. It is the best thing. What better gift could you give your significant other?
I know, right?
I probably shouldn't do that.
Tom, is this the equivalent of giving your loved one like a power drill or something where you're like, I got you this? They're like, I don't do that. Oh, you don't want it? I guess I'll use it.
No, it's more like, here's yours. I have mine over here. But I don't have a Vita. I don't have a PlayStation 4 to play it on.
Oh, it's okay. I'll keep it for collector's item. Oh, okay.
Part of me is like, oh, I wish it was on Vita, but then I'm like, nah, I think PlayStation 4 is the better option.
They'll
for that.
port it to Vita, maybe, I think.
Oh yeah, probably.
I would play it on Vita.
I'd play it on Vita. I mean, mine doesn't get played anymore. I mean, it's my Final Fantasy machine. That's about it.
It's my Final Fantasy and a bunch of PlayStation 1 classics machine.
All right. Well, the last thing we have on our list here to talk about today is Destiny, and specifically it's Rise of Iron, right? Just before.
Yep, it's Rise of Iron.
The Destiny Rise of Iron expansion.
The Destiny, we are Vikings with weird hammers and swords and stuff. We
Yeah,
don't know what we are.
So I haven't played most of the new expansions for it. In fact, when I first played it, I was playing it with Preston in the room, like when it first came out, and
Vanilla.
Vanilla, and he's told me that I basically would not recognize it. And from looking at just the art for the new game and like a few of the screenshots, I'm like, yeah, no, I agree. What is happening?
They've also just changed the gameplay up and what you're doing entirely.
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I super enjoyed playing the game. It was super fun. It's just like, what is this? What am I playing?
When have you ever heard of a game take out a voice actor in it and just totally replace them? Like, this
I
didn't
prefer
happen?
it. I prefer it.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying I don't prefer it. I'm just
Yeah, I
saying.
know.
Have you ever heard that happening?
I love the guy, but it maybe wasn't his best performance.
Maybe it wasn't his best performance.
Okay, it wasn't
Ugh.
his best performance at all.
It
but
was horrible.
It just sounded like he didn't care. It wasn't
It
like
was just. It was all like his inflection was like, "Hey, make sure you go over here." I guess, kinda. I mean,
the
do what you
anti-guilty
want.
spark.
yeah, pretty much.
It's
Oh,
like the complete opposite of guilty spark.
Well, he's basically trying to be Guilty Spark. They
Hey,
look
it's
like Guilty
basically
Spark.
Guilty Spark.
Which is why that's part of the frustration I had with Destiny to begin with. Is it's so Halo, it's obvious. Like everything about that game is Halo.
Until you see the Space Marines, and then you're like, wait, what?
Well, I mean, each of the races do follow a lot of the lines of their typical enemies.
Yeah, it was basically like, oh look, there's brutes. Oh look, there's the Covenant or the elites. It's like,
There's the Flood.
There's the Flood. Oh look, cool.
And it felt really lazy. And I mean, vanilla for me, I mean, I played a ton of Destiny with my friends because it's a great game to pick up with friends and just do, like, here, we'll do the daily missions. Here, we'll do the, weekly Nightfall Strike. Here, we'll play, we'll just we'll mess around together. And it's a really fun game to do that for. And I think that was the fun part of it. But a lot of that game, at least in the vanilla, and I played a little bit of Taken King, and it just never grabbed me again because I was like, well, maybe I'll get back into it. And I was like, yeah. But what really I kind of was like, man, I've been playing the same dang story missions and strikes like 15,000 times, and I'm just sick of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I've got 600 hours across all 3 of my characters, and it's just I do the same stuff all day. So I mean, for me, I don't mind the grind. I mean, I put 2,000 hours into RuneScape, so that's
Is it the grind for the loot that keeps you playing? Or
no,
what?
I mean the game is just fun to play. It's just fun to play. That's really what keeps me into it. Like I don't care about increasing my light level or getting the perfect gear or any of that kind of stuff. Like I've only done a raid once, so it's not even like, I'm not even the most outfitted that I can be, but it's just fun to play.
So what's your favorite part of the new expansion?
Probably the fact that you can reach max light without having to do specific events. You can just do that.
Oh, wow,
you just play the game normally and you level up really quick. But I mean, Rise of Iron doesn't really do much more than what Taken King did. So it's not much really has changed. There's a few new weapons and there's a new strike and everything, but
doesn't really reinvent the game.
No, it's Taken King. It's just more Taken King essentially, which is fine because Taken King really changed it. A lot of the complaints with year 1 disappeared with Taken King. But
That's good. I mean, I'm glad to see that they're trying to keep it fresh, but not going too.
But that's why we have Destiny 2, which is rumored. Like there's a guy who wrote an article or who spoke with Kotaku, who's Jason Schreier. He's leaked a few games before and hasn't been wrong yet. Essentially, well, first off, it's coming to PC. That's the big rumor, and it's gonna be a completely different game than what Destiny 1 was.
No,
they want to change a lot of things with it. One big thing is they kind of want an open world aspect of just drop in and play as opposed to loading into zones and everything. So kind of more of like a Guild Wars 2 feel.
Yeah, all right.
Or it's just a large, or any other MMO, just a large open map
where
spend
you
the
just time
go
to load it the first
things.
time and then you're just there.
Yeah, and the rumor is Saturn is going to be a playable area and it's going to be larger than all the areas in Destiny combined, or in Destiny 1 combined. So, especially
where are you going to play on Saturn?
Yeah, Saturn.
Either it's been terraformed into lore, or we're playing on a Sky City. Who knows? But now that we've dropped off last gen, I mean, even in just Rise of Iron, I guess that's the one thing. Dropping off last gen was the best thing that ever happened to Destiny, because the amount of enemies that are on screen, the amount of different things that can happen within a raid, without having to rely on the old technology of last gen, has just changed it to where it's just more just more fun to play because there's a lot more on screen, a lot more happening.
Instead of being stuck with the old hardware and having to dumb down it.
Yeah. So that's one of the bigger things. But yeah, Destiny 2, I'm definitely looking forward to that at September next year. So.
Oh yes.
I detect a segue. What other games are you guys excited for within the next year here?
Persona 5.
Persona 5. Persona 5.
Pod racing.
Oh my god. It's like a virus.
So if any of you ever read an obituary that Tom died by being violently beat to death with a cartridge of Pod Racer, it wasn't me. Just letting you guys know. No, totally wasn't me.
Civ 5. Civ 5.
You're gonna beat me to death with it.
I mean, I know they already came out, but I'm when I eventually get around to it, I really am actually excited to play Mafia 3. That one looked really cool to me.
Mafia 2 was good.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. There were a lot of people who were kind of
it was eh.
I'm
in terms of gameplay, I thought it was eh, but I thought the story was good enough to keep it going.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, what about you guys?
I would say, I mean, the thing about my side that I think is, I'm thinking back and I'm everyone was saying that this year is supposed to be this great year of games, and I'm really? I don't know if there was really any. I mean, the only 2 games that when I think of game of the year, right now up till now, and what I'm looking forward to this year, everything I wanted to come out is coming out next year, because they're oh, we pushed it out of fall into the spring. I'm am I going to basically have no life in the spring? Because if I have Mass Effect Andromeda and Persona 5 both in the same month,
oh yeah,
I think I'm going to cry.
Yes.
I don't. Yeah, like of large releases this year, what has there really been?
I know, and that's what because like last year it had Witcher 3 was huge, or you know what I mean. I thought it was huge.
Overwatch.
Well, that was
Oh
this
yeah,
year.
that officially released this year. Yeah, it's true.
You know, Overwatch. Yeah, because it's like Overwatch, and then for me, it was the best games I played this year are Zero Time Dilemma. I've already been talked at lengths about that game, and Fire Emblem Fates were my two big games that I was like, man, these games are fantastic. And Overwatch was good too. But other than that, I'm kind of like, there's a lot of in this year, and there wasn't because like last year I had Witcher 3 and had Metal Gear Solid 5, Fallout 4. And it had those huge releases that I think were, you know, at least in my mind, sitting at my favorite games of all time. And this year, I'm like, it's just a lot of meh.
I mean, to be fair, there's nothing wrong with the year because then that makes the year where it's like, holy shit, feel more.
Yeah, at
like
least
that.
it's not 2014. So.
You're forgetting what came out in 2014? Dragon Age Inquisition.
Eh.
I haven't.
You see, you guys don't understand. BioWare is the greatest company ever.
But Dragon Age Inquisition wasn't as good as the first one, though.
No. Disagree.
Those are fighting words to Tom. Just so you know what you just said.
That's like saying Knights of the Republic 2 was not as good as 1.
But it wasn't. 1 was better than 2.
It was better in most ways, except for the fact that I think the story was more mature in 2. But anyways, we're getting.
So releases.
Releases.
I'm excited for Shadow Warrior 2. I remember
Final
watching
Fantasy 15,
a couple
probably.
different Let's Plays of it, and it seemed I like. Well,
Did you
sorry,
play the
Let's
first
Plays
Shadow
of
Warrior?
Shadow Warrior. The
remade one.
the original or the remade?
The remade one.
The remade, yes, I loved it. It was great.
Oh, see, like
I love that like 90s FPS style.
I don't know why I didn't get into it. I played it and the gameplay was just.
I'm a fan. I like it. I thought it was good.
And maybe that was me because like I played the new Doom and I did not care for it at all.
Yeah, I want to play that at some point. I haven't gotten around to playing it yet.
Like, see, if you like Shadow Warrior, you probably like that because it's kind of that zany, weird kind of game like that. And I don't know what about that just didn't appeal to me of either of those two games. Like, maybe it's just me being like, I guess I'm not too zany in terms of what I like in my games, and so maybe those were just a little too.
Says the guy who likes Pod Racer.
That's not zany. It is perfect racing perfection.
It's just like F-Zero.
There we go. Just like F-Zero. See?
No, F-Zero you can actually see farther than 2 feet.
I would say that my most anticipated games are Persona 5, Mass Effect, and probably whenever Danganronpa 3 comes out. Sometime in the next millennia.
Hey guys, Elder Scrolls Skyrim Special Edition.
That we get for free.
I didn't buy the rest of the DLC for that game.
But guys, it's just the mods have been out for years to make it look like that. It
looks horrible.
Exactly.
I think
and
it
there's
looks
better
worse
ones.
than the regular game.
It's just like, guys, make a new Elder Scrolls. Stop.
But money.
It's like that one friend from high school who has not moved out of high school yet, who's just like, hey guys, remember the homecoming dance? Carl, we're 35. Let it go.
And he's like wearing his leather jacket.
Yeah,
that
right.
Doesn't
The
fit.
Letterman jacket. It's like, Carl, stop. It's Carl.
It's over.
Yeah, that's what Bethesda feels like with Skyrim. It's like, guys, just new one.
That's how it feels
Please
with a
move on.
lot of companies now with the remasters, like we talked about before.
Yeah, God, the fucking remasters. Stop. Just there are certain games,
But it
where
literally
makes
prints
sense.
money, so what's the point?
Yeah,
Yes.
Why
I
not
know,
do
right?
it?
Hey, I'm not
People
saying it
buy
doesn't
it.
make sense marketing wise or business wise. Just
What are you anticipating, Alex?
Well, one game that I will probably never be able to play is Horizon Zero Dawn. I would like to play that, but I would have to buy a PlayStation 4 and
That one looks fun. We'll
How
see
about
if
Dead Rising
if it holds
4?
You mean with Frank West, aka not Frank West?
I know, right?
That one. I mean, I like Dead Rising 3 a lot. I didn't like the time limits in 2. And,
I actually, I kind of liked having the time limits because it meant you kind of had to. It A, forced you to play it multiple times to try and do everything correctly, and B is like.
I just don't have time to play it multiple times.
Yeah.
I like, to me, if I can't play my game fully, in first playthrough, I'm like, why should I play this? I have so much other stuff I want to play.
That could have been a toggleable thing, though.
Yeah, agreed.
guess.
Like maybe like a mode where it's like like challenge mode or whatever.
Make it a
Time
different
trial.
3-day survivor. Yeah, that kind of something like that. Agreed. I liked it, and I was fine with not having the time limit in 3. But then I didn't like that they took the sandbox part of it and just went like, it's all a sandbox. It's like, no, okay, not okay. Don't make the story a sandbox too, please. Let's not rein it in, guys.
Rein it in.
Too much.
I enjoyed it a lot. I think it'll be Final Fantasy 15 this year is probably the only game left in this year that I'm actually interested in, really.
With me, for the rounding out the year, basically coming out each month, Final Fantasy, Titanfall 2 this month, Final Fantasy 15, and Pokemon, and then Persona 5 starting now next year.
See, I'm wondering if I should just pick up the new Pokemon and the new Final Fantasy, which means I'd have to buy 2 consoles, so probably not, but pick those up and then just play them. I realize I'm not caught up on the series, but maybe just jump in here and keep.
You don't ever need to be caught up, so
I just feel bad with Pokemon because I just be like, I have no idea what's going on. But maybe it's like starting over. I get the wonder, the childlike wonder of playing through it again.
Yeah, you won't know like easily 800 of the Pokemon or 600 of the Pokemon. So
once I saw the ice cream Pokemon, I was done.
The keys.
Jingle keys. I'm not having jingle keys that evolves into jumbo keys.
It doesn't evolve though.
Well, you know what? It might as well evolve. Because and then Mega Evolutions ultimately kicked me out of it completely.
It adds a new thing for competitive.
You got to do.
But
something
that's
at some point.
That to me is where I'm just like, no, because then you're starting to mess with the balance of the old Pokemon.
It could be like the anime where the Pokemon fuse with their trainers.
Alrighty. Well, with that, I think that's
On
probably
that
pretty. Well, on that bombshell. Oh wait, no, that's wrong show. Sorry, that's another thing entirely. So yeah, on that note, I think we're gonna end it for today because we're sitting about the hour mark here, and we've talked about quite a bit actually. In fact, a lot of stuff outside of our planned agenda. But with that, I think we're going to end it. And yeah, so thanks for coming on, everybody. It's always nice to talk to everybody, kind of compare what we've been playing, talk about some gaming news here or there, and just kind of hang out. So yeah, thanks, everybody.
Persona 5 is still great.
Pod racing!
Alex, nothing from Alex?
The number of streams that has ended with them screaming pod racing.
All right, see you later, everybody.